Oh, yes. You've stepped in it now. Welcome to the Epic Engagement Adventure. My name is RJ Redden, and coaches hire me to skyrocket their marketing because most feel like they're shouting into a black hole online and they end up being a carbon copy of everybody else. I think that's a shame. So, I create epic engagement experiences that get people to click that button, connect with you, and convert like crazy. And I said the word crazy. I meant it because I am crazy for the human right next to me, Dean Isaacs. Dean, say hello.
Hey RJ, thanks for having me on today. I'm excited to chat with you.
I'm really excited as well. I met Dean a couple months back in a networking adventure. Phil and Jane, they do Profitable Networking Monthly. I still think that's the sexiest name on earth. That took a lot of creativity, people. Anyway, it's a really great event. I met this quality human, and you know what it's like when you meet somebody that is just they're incredibly like-minded and and they believe the same things about business and I just got along so well with Dean, and I knew that he would be absolutely fabulous for you all to meet. So here you are, you're meeting him.
All
Dean,
right.
tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I appreciate it, RJ. The feeling is absolutely mutual. We just clicked right off the bat. We've had a ton of fun. We're going to do some really cool things coming up as well. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, I've been in consulting for a long time, and really my passion, my focus is all about helping business owners achieve their goals and their dreams in business, right? Well, we all could say that. So, what do I do? Well, business consultants, coaches, experts, they hire me to take all the confusion out of generating revenue in a predictable, profitable manner, right? There's lots of stuff out there. We can Google how to do stuff all day long, but it gets so confusing. So, I really help them streamline the process, put some predictability into their business so they know if they spend a certain amount of money, they're going to get a certain return. So that predictability is hugely important. So they can grow and then scale. I like to say I help business owners remove the friction in generating revenue. So that friction between the buyer and the seller, the messaging, confusion, all of that stuff can go away. And you know what happens when you remove friction? Things speed up, things get easier. So that's what I do.
Well, and do you find it, Dean, that people are they have this framework of entrepreneurship that is like, it has to be 18 hours at your desk. 18 hours a day at your desk working. It has to be a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Do you find that a lot of people kind of come in with that mindset?
Yeah, and then they're kind of disappointed if they don't do that, right? Because that's the expectation. I'm just trading more time for better results. And if that's the way you want to live your life and run your business, that's cool. But that's not the way it should be. And it's certainly not the way it has to be. The whole hustle it's like vibe and the whole hustle mentality, I think it's sort of evolved in a really negative way, right? I
Yeah.
think you've got to work hard, you've got to put the time in, you've got to put the hours in, but you don't have to get into this burnout mode. And so it affects your health and your mental well-being and your family and all of this stuff. And you see it so often with entrepreneurs and business owners. They get through that first year or two and the savings start to dwindle down, their health starts to suffer, and they're like, I'm just going to go get a job. It just
Yeah.
doesn't have to be that way. It just doesn't.
No. Hey, Kathy Ford is here, Kathy. Hey, I am so glad to see you and see you in the challenge. We're going to be talking about that later on.
Awesome.
Good for you. That's wonderful. Um, so Dean, tell me about a great success story you've had with a client.
Yeah, I'd love to. So my clients span a pretty large range. They're all B2B. Some of the early stage, 3 to 5 years in business, solopreneurs trying to get beyond that sticking point of growth. And then I work with clients that are small and mid market, 5 to 25, 30 million. But the success stories and the stories I love to tell are really about the entrepreneurs. That's where I get the biggest passion and like that's where I'm at. So one of my clients, she really wanted to create this balance in life. She's a business coach, management consultant, leadership expert, super, super smart individual, came out of corporate, had been in business on her own for about 10 years, and had never really got the business to where she wanted it to be in terms of this balance of work and life and the revenue and income she wanted to make. She was really kind of going from those four and low figure contracts and going from contract to contract, never sure where the next deal's coming from, hadn't really figured out how to market and position herself. And we sat down and spent some time together. And what I realized is she wanted a lifestyle business. She wanted to work, let's say, 30 hours a week. She wanted to make 150, 200 grand. Good income for not a full-time gig, right? But here's the key. She only really wanted to work with her ideal client,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
She didn't verbalize it quite like that, but that's what she wanted. And so we went through a process of figuring out, well, what the heck is your ideal client, right? It beyond the demographic data, a business of this size and this location doing this thing. So we got into the psychographics, we got into this whole thing, and she got super clear on the kinds of people she wanted to work with. And then we were able to figure out really quickly, well, this is how you get in front of them. This is how you have a conversation. These are the common problems you help them solve. And you get aligned. You take the friction out of the process. And so within 6 months, I'm really proud to say she was bringing in ideal clients that were in for high five-figure deals, which is far more than she had before. But even more importantly, she was able to take those clients and turn them into six-figure lifetime relationships and build relationships with these clients. So she could work with her 4, 5, 6 clients every year, be happy, but know that she could kind of turn that spigot on and attract new clients when she needed them. So for me, it served me well because I love seeing those results. But for her, it allowed her to achieve her goal of balance, but also fulfillment in the business as well. And she'd never done it in 10 years of business. She hadn't been able to figure that out. So for me, that was a wonderful experience. And I still work with her today. She's one of my most fun clients. I love her.
Well, and doesn't that just isn't that just the point? You and I have talked a lot about static versus dynamic solutions. Our businesses, we're entrepreneurs, we need to be dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be able to make a change, do something different because our environment changes all the time. Listen, if you're Coke and you need to do your marketing, you're probably going to do your marketing the same way you always have. I mean, really, if you're a huge machine, but we are not. We are
Mm-hmm.
small machines wanting to grow bigger. And it makes so much more sense to have a lifetime value of a client rather than a one-time value or a transaction.
Yeah, it does. I think especially if you're working with business owners, owner operators, entrepreneurs, they care about that relationship too. And they don't have the time to keep bouncing around from service provider to service provider. And they're like, right, I need this person. No, I need that. That takes away from their ability to drive their business forward as well. So there's such a kind of mutual value in building these long-term relationships. And the other thing I love to do and pride myself in is when I see a need with my client, it's certainly something that I don't do. I love to tap into my network and share great resources too, because the business owners, they kind of live in this little vacuum, right? They don't have this list of great service providers that they might use from time to time. They just don't have them.
No.
So that's another value for me that I like to deliver to the client is the more I get to know them, the more I see their business, the more I can support them there as well.
Yeah, and you're not kidding. It is about the lifetime, and it's about when they outgrow me. I have 100 other people,
Yeah.
and they are trusted humans who have treated clients of mine before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is about for me during this pandemic. I'm going a little off the rails here, but I hope you don't mind. I know you'll follow me, Dean.
I'm with you.
Um, but during the pandemic, if I hadn't had a group of people to lean on when I was just feeling like, what is happening with the world, I might not have made it. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Sometimes I need support. I need sometimes emotional support. I need all kinds of support. And to be able to teach others that, gosh, it's not about you pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. It's not about the roller coaster of living from paycheck to paycheck or contract to contract. It's about developing something more holistic, and I know that you use that word a lot to
Yeah.
describe yourself. Can you go into that? What does being holistic about someone's business mean?
Yeah, yeah. For me, holistic is looking at the whole picture,
Yeah.
right? There are a lot of great marketing service providers, agencies, consultants. There are great sales coaches. There are great business strategy people. There are all of these solo sort of domain experts, and we need those people. But as a business owner, they've got to take a step back and look holistically at their business in a bigger picture. And sometimes the lens they look at their business through isn't the same as the lens that, let's say, I or you would look at their business. And so when I come in, one of the things I think makes my approach different to some of the other folks out there is that I don't look at marketing in a vacuum. I don't look at selling in a vacuum. I look at the whole life cycle of a client, right? The holistic approach. So, but I'll use buyer's journey. Maybe I'm going off on a rabbit trail here. I don't know. But I think about buyer's journey, right? We can define the buyer's journey from how we think our ideal client's going to experience our brand and have those conversations. And it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what they think. So your buyer's journey has to be empathetic and aligned with the reality of the buyer. And so using the buyer's journey as an example, marketers tend to think the buyer's journey begins when they click on the website or they like a Facebook post or they interact with our brand somewhere. Well, that's where the journey interacts with us, but that's not where their journey begins. Their buyer's journey begins when they recognize they have a problem they want to solve, right? So that's where we need to be thinking. And so my holistic approach takes the business owner there, takes them to that place that their prospect starts that process, and let's align all of our activities with our ideal client and how they interact with the world and their brand. So if I'm just doing digital marketing, I don't see that buyer's journey in the same way. But if I step back and take this holistic approach, the goal is to go from being known to being in position to serve.
Yeah.
Right. So it's marketing, it's selling, it's lead gen, it's all this stuff. And then also this lifetime relationship, lifetime value. So I look at the whole process in a holistic way. And then we focus in on the areas that we can have greatest impact first.
Yeah. Well, the people that use a holistic approach, it's so much more meaningful and powerful. If I sat at this desk and I could work 4 hours a week and make millions of dollars, and yet I become a person I don't like, what have I gained? If I could sit and work 4 hours a week at my desk and make $1 billion and my health is gone, what have I gained?
Right.
And to me, the people who look at all of it, who look at, okay, what's the state of your mental health? Have you gotten up from your desk lately? Have you eaten today? I mean, that kind of stuff is just as much a part of success as having an excellent Facebook ad campaign. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. I'm talking to a client. I did work with them in 2016, a while ago. We did our thing. Everything was great. They re-engaged with me in conversation about 2 weeks ago. And I was talking with the CEO, and she is the service delivery mechanism, number one, but she's also the pinch point in growth. So everything has to come across her desk. She's working 24/7. She's got young kids. She's got a husband. Her health isn't suffering yet. I'm sure her mental health maybe, but and so we had this long conversation. She came to me to help them with some marketing strategy. I'm like, hang on, you don't need marketing strategy. That's not, well, we'll get there. You need a strategy for the business. What's the growth plan? Because you can't take on any more. And if you get hit by the proverbial bus or want to go on vacation or take a day off, the business stops. She has a business of 20 employees, but she's the pinch point.
Oh,
Right. So she's got 20 mouths to feed. It's a whole thing, but she's self-aware enough to realize, you know what, we'll get to the marketing stuff. We need to figure out the business first.
Mhm.
And so I kind of gave her a fresh lens to look at her business through, because she wanted to do marketing and social. We'll get there. But you can't even take on one new client. So why would we be marketing? Right. So that, to me, that's again, kind of maybe that holistic, let's take a step back. And I can help her with that growth strategy piece, but there are lots of things in her business that she's going to need. That's not my area of expertise. So that's where I can lean on my network and the people I know to come in and add more value and help her get beyond her ability to just execute every day.
That's right. It takes a village. I have said that before on
Yeah.
this program, and I will say it again. It does take a village. It takes all of us together, and we are better working together. I mean, my business has grown exponentially, not just in dollar signs, but in just in strength, just from from the relationships that I have,
Yeah.
from partnerships with people that really align with what it is that I'm giving out as well. And you deal with plenty of people that are like that have that misalignment between what it is that they think they want and what they're doing for it for marketing, and you've got to you've got to herd those goats.
Yeah, and that's pretty common, right? So because I kind of play in the marketing side and on the sales side, I tell you, a lot of times a prospect will come to me and describe this marketing problem that they have, but it's not a marketing problem; it's a sales problem, right? Or vice versa, right? Our salespeople can't close a thing; they need help, they need coaching. Wait a minute. You don't know who your ideal client is. You're not attracting quality leads. You don't have a journey to take them through. The salespeople are basically cold calling these people. That's why their close rate's so low. So again, it's that like helping them see through the fogginess and make some decisions about where they need the most help in the business. And there are times where I'm like, all right, I see, I think I know what's going on. Let me introduce you to someone that can help you fix it. You know, and that to me is a huge value. I get a lot of pride in doing that because they would probably have spent money on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know, a client wanted to spend 10 grand a month on Google AdWords before I started working with them. They had the money ready, they had the person, they were ready to go. And I said, do your ideal clients click on ads? Do they look at ads? Do they even Google your kind of service? How do they find people? I don't know. So I talked to some of their clients. Right? Talk to some of the clients, and their clients are like, we don't even Google this kind of thing. We go to our network, we go to our trade associations, we go to our peers first. If we Google it, we're Googling a brand because we've already been referred to them. So I like to think I've saved them 100 grand a year
Yeah.
on wasted Google ads. Let's put that in a place that can actually generate revenue for you.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, and I could talk to you and have
Yeah.
about your ideas on business. But I do want to make room for something special. You have talked to me about engagement first networking. You've talked to me about how you use engagement in your networking to draw the right people to you at the right time. Can you speak a little bit about that process?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's online networking and there's in real life networking, right? And people sometimes think of them very differently. So if you and I sat down as strangers, we maybe met at a networking event and we went to grab lunch or coffee. Think about that conversation we would have. It's kind of like this. But if I met you on LinkedIn, connected with you, and I immediately just started pitching you, buy my stuff. The interaction is so different. For some reason, people think the interaction is different online as it is in the real world. It's like still people, right? Still people. So that's just that at the basic, most fundamental level. Remember, you're talking to other people. People buy from people. Companies don't buy stuff, right? It's humans making decisions. They go through a buying process, online, offline, whatever it is. So fundamentally, it's like remember that. I kind of like chuckle to myself that do I even need to say that? But apparently I do.
Yeah.
Apparently I do. But in the same sense that I have a methodology that I teach my clients for networking in person in terms of building relationships and kind of giving first, it applies online as well. And it's a pretty simple formula. You meet with somebody online, you meet with somebody in the real world, either way. Do a little research, know who the heck they are, first of all, right? What they do. So you can stimulate the conversation with context. You get to know the person. You know, what do they do? How do they do it? How do they get it? There are all those kinds of things. But what I really like to do is connect good people. I can't always refer everybody I meet to a client,
Yeah.
right? But I can always connect a good person to another good person. So the methodology I teach is when you're sitting down with that individual, online or offline, figure out where they need help, right? Is it they want to be connected into a particular type of network? They're looking for a particular service provider. What do they need? And then find that person in your network and make a connection. So the first you make a connection, an introduction within 24 hours of that first meeting. Okay. And then if you really want to build a relationship, you don't just meet once, right? You meet monthly, at least monthly for a few months to really kind of build a relationship. So step 2 is send them another introduction, connect them with another great connector before you meet the second time. So they've had 2 introductions at minimum in that first 30 days, and they
Yeah.
never asked for one. So what does that do you think, for the relationship, right?
Yeah. It just amps it up. It's like it turns it from, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna talk to this person again," to, "Wow, this person is really connected and thoughtful and probably going to connect me to a few more people." And what that gets me thinking is, I wonder who I could connect him to, because now he's doing stuff for me, and I want to reciprocate because that made me feel good.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So it stimulates that the reciprocity, which of course that's a secondary benefit. We want that. We want to. There's a reason why we're connecting. We're trying to improve each other's world, right? The other thing it does, it makes you stand out in the crowd. Not everybody can pull off the cape, right? Not everybody can pull off the cape. So for us mere humans that can, we want to stand out in the crowd. We want to be memorable in our own way. And by giving without being asked to give is a huge magnifier of your personality, of your style, of your approach. Because most people you meet, 99% of the people you meet will say, "That was great. I'll see you around." And they don't do anything. And then I wonder why I've had 54 coffee meetings this month or networking meetings online and nothing came from it. I'm not giving to the relationship first,
Yeah.
right? It's this death by coffee we talked about earlier, right? Death by coffee meeting. We've all been through it. When we all started a business, we just met with everybody, anybody with a pulse, we
Yep.
would meet with them. And then 6 months or a year, and then look at your watch, you look at the calendar, like, did that really help me build my business? Probably
Right.
not. Probably not.
It's the giver first mentality that is not at all modeled in current marketing today. I mean, you look at people who are pulling down millions, and they are generally aggressive, super noisy, will spam you at any moment.
Yep.
Any moment. And that's the kind of thing that people point at and call out and say, "Hey, be like this." What we're saying is, don't ever be like that.
Yeah.
Be a go-giver. Be
Yeah.
a go-giver.
They're playing the numbers game, right? They're playing the volume game. If they can get 2 or 3% to convert, they're happy. They don't care about the dead bodies and bad reputation they leave in their wake, right? That's just not how I want to go about doing business, and not what I encourage my clients to do. The other thing, RJ, I think is important is you talk to a marketer about defining your ideal client. They're going to give you all the stuff, right? Profile this and profile that, and we got a target. And I agree to a point with all that stuff. But one thing nobody talks about is developing a profile for your ideal network partner or referral partner.
Tell me more, Gene.
So I can meet with a bunch of folks that are they're good people, but they're never going to refer me. And there are 2 or 3 reasons why. First of all, they're not a give to get kind of mentality, right? They're not willing to put in the hard work, because making referrals and introductions takes thoughtfulness and effort. They just want to get, right? And thirdly, maybe they're not interacting with the kind of client that fits my client model. So maybe they're all B2C, multi-level marketing, Mary Kay market. Awesome, great. You can go do that. That's just not my client base. But if they're working with small and mid-sized business owners entrepreneurs, B2B, professional services, there's a likelihood that I can add value to their clients and they can add value to my clients.
Right.
Right. And that's the key right there. Good people are good people, but I can only spend so much time with good people that are never going to help me, and I can't even help them. Right. So think about that profile and even start at the top. What are the kind of cool people you like to hang out with? Who are the other RJs in the world you want to hang out with? What are the characteristics of those individuals? And then break it down. What kind of business are they in? Who do they interact with? Who do they work with? What is their network like? Is there a synergy? If there is, that fits your profile of an ideal referral partner. Everybody else is cool, but they're not going to add value.
Well, I'm loving that because, I think I've told you one of my things is creating a bot that will help people know who their ninja niche is,
Mhm.
who their person is.
Yeah.
But yes, why not also have something that, because if you begin knowing who that person is, you'll be able to, you know g- you'll be able to get that person in your sights a heck of a lot easier, because that's who you're aiming for as a partner. When I started out partnering with people, it was just like, I don't know, whoever has a pulse, I'll sit down with you. Absolutely. Even if you maybe don't have a pulse, I'll still pretend to sit with you. Yeah, and it's so much more meaningful when I know exactly who can help tremendously, and who I can help in return, because my kind of joint venture stuff is, it's not about transactions, it's about relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. I think good like people attract like people,
Yeah.
right? Generally speaking. And so you would hope that during the conversation with this new referral partner, you say, how can I help you? And they say, well, how can I help you? And you get this sort of general blank stare, like, I don't know, right? But
Yeah.
if you can say, right, really clearly, this is the kind of client I love to work with, and this is the kind of referral partner I like to build relationships with, all of a sudden it gets them to go from, I know all these people, to, okay, I know exactly who I need to connect you with. And that connection is really powerful and it's right on point. So for me, it's as important as knowing your ideal client, know your ideal referral partner, power partner, strategic partner, whatever you want to call it, because then you can sort of like your worlds can cross in a much more meaningful way.
Yeah. Well, shoot. And Kathy has a comment here. If you have a pulse, I'll meet with you. I'm trying to get away from that stage of business development.
Yeah,
Yes, you're in the right place, Kathy.
Kathy, we've all been there. It's all good.
We are your people. God, holy moly. That was hard stuff when I was first starting my business.
Yeah.
Um, well, so, and that kind of brings me to, I always do a little lesson of the week. And this one I grabbed out of our earlier conversation, Dean. And what I want to talk about is building a business that's in alignment with your values, and making sure you're working towards something that you actually want. In the beginning, there, Dean was talking about his client that wanted a lifestyle business, had a cap of what she wanted to earn, had a range of what she wanted to earn, and then how many hours she wanted to spend. And they were able to get to that. And it wasn't crowd that, a billion people in her crowd, and it
Oh,
wasn't a billion clients. Hey, I'll give you a secret, y'all. Having a billion clients would be really tough. You know what I'm saying? For me, I have a cap on how many I want, because I like to work deeply with people. I like to get in there, get in where the dirt is, look at the things, go, okay, we need to throw these things out, we need to move these things in. What my very first job, I was in college and I was in the theater department. I know you're shocked, but I was in the theater department, and my first job was clean this prop department out, because people just walked in there. I'm not kidding you, dropped things and left.
yeah.
And so that was my job, cleaning and organizing the prop department. Well, that's what needs to be done a lot of times in people's businesses, because they see people that have lots of money and think I could solve a lot of problems with that. Okay, I need to make that.
Yep.
Maybe you don't need to make that. Maybe you don't need to make that to be happy at all. Maybe you need to make a certain amount and have a home life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Have some time to make your health happen.
Yeah, yeah. The whole concept of work-life balance has sort of come in and out of fashion, and to me, it's not necessarily work-life balance. It's just balance in life, right? If you're an owner, entrepreneur, you can't separate from the business, right? It's at some level, it's part of who you are. You are it. So it's like, be clear on what balance you want in life, all aspects of life,
Yeah.
right? And then you can back into building or rebuilding your business around achieving those goals. We don't have to do the grind hustle thing at all.
No, we don't. And in fact, we shouldn't, because that is not going to be that's it's not going to work long term. It might work short term.
Yeah.
But I have also seen people who have, you know, 4 brand new cars and a Lamborghini in the garage the next year going, "Oh, I burned through everything." You know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
burned through it all, and now what? And so keep your head about you as always, and please remember this, whoever is watching this now, I know it's you, Kathy, and some other, you know, if you watch this in the future, you are bigger and more important than your business. You are. And having values that align with what you got to do. Kathy's talking about retiring her husband and traveling around the world. I desperately want to retire my wife. She works on her feet all day, folks. She's a pharmacist and a brilliant human, and I want to show her the world, and that's my goal as well. And so, no, building a business that aligns with what you want, not what would make somebody else happy.
Yep.
That's the name of this game.
It is. It is. And there's a story that comes to mind. I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy named Ed Milet. He's an online guru kind of guy, right? Motivational speaker, all that good stuff. And some of the stuff Ed talks about, I really like. And there's a particular story he talks about in terms of growth, because I think in terms of growing the business is limited by your internal capacity to grow or desire to grow, or belief to grow. So he has a concept. He talks about the internal thermostat, right? You got the thermostat on the wall, and it's set at 70 degrees. Cold wind blows in, the heater kicks on, it brings you back to 70 degrees. Or it gets hot in the summer, the AC kicks on, it brings you back to 70 degrees. And so, as a human, we have an internal thermostat around our earning potential, our capacity to do work, our big plans and visions. We set an internal limiter subconsciously. So it's the old lottery winners, right? 90% of them lose their money in the last, or burn their money out, in 3 years or whatever. It's because their internal thermostat, in terms of their personal value perception, is much lower than the money they were given in the lottery. So, from a business perspective, don't set your internal thermostat low, which means hustle, grind, more hours, more hours, more hours. Set it high, where you can run a smart, intelligent, efficient business, bringing in partners, bringing in contractors, having systems and technology, so you can achieve the life you want. And the way to increase the internal thermostat, Milet says, is be around people that have a higher temperature, right? Be around those people that have done that thing in the way that you want to do it, not the spammers that have made all the millions and burned it or whatever, right? Be around the people that you want to mimic in terms of their philosophy, their work ethic, their values, and your thermostat will rise to their temperature and you'll achieve way, way more. So I love that sort of thermostat analogy. It seems to it resonates with me.
I love it too. And just in time for spring and summer to
There
start
you
heating
go.
up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, Dean and I are throwing a thing. And by the way, if you want to get a hold of Dean, hit him up on LinkedIn. I threw a link in the comments there. And Kathy knows what she needs already.
All
She
right.
is ready to go here, 3 to 5 clients. Loving that, Kathy. And so Dean and I are going to be doing some cool stuff coming up. So do stay tuned for that. But also, if you didn't know, now you know. I've got a Book Yourself Silly challenge coming, and it is happening starting Monday, May 16th. It's going 16th through the 21st, and it is not only going to be a raucously good time, but there's going to be cool stuff available every day. There's going to be great opportunities to get some leverage in terms of getting your calendar full, and also great people to meet along the way. Please do join us. Bookyourselfsilly.com, another super creative domain name.
I love it.
And so come with us. And Kathy Ford is already in there. So
I see that.
who else could you possibly want to rub shoulders with?
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dean. Do you have any parting words of wisdom?
Any parting words of wisdom? Business doesn't have to be hard. And while it looks like you have to make that journey on your own to grow in your business, you don't. You just don't. If you choose it, that's the way it is, but choose a different path. Reach out, get some help. There's some great people available that will help you and add value to your world.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. It's time for me to sign off. Next week, you could catch me on the same bot time, same bot channel. The Epic Engagement Adventure will be happening again. Again, catch Dean on LinkedIn. Connect with him. He's good people, my friends. And with that, we are out of here. I will see you in a bot.